I'm speaking. Great. Okay, let's get started. Arav, could you please introduce yourself? Arav Sharma.
It's not Arav, it's Usha. Again, my
Oh,
kids changed the name. Sorry.
oh,
Oh, really?
this happens. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh.
Because these are like kind of if not paid, but these are restricted training, right? So don't worry. Means I can understand the name and everything. So please, only thing is that I need to note it that way because these guys have some mechanism of attendance or something like that sort.
Okay. So
That's
if
why.
it's Arav or Arnav, that means this is Usha. My kids' name are Arav and Arnav.
Okay, I'll basically these things.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, who is Vivo 1713?
Okay.
I think your mic is working, right? So could you please tell me about yourself? Vivo 17193, 1713. Or you can type in chat box as well. Means if you think your voice is not working.
That's Revati.
Okay, it's Reti. Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
it's me. I'm sorry.
No problem. And it happens. I can clearly understand that. So my responsibility is basically to check, right? Whoever is there and all. So that's why I'm checking. Chalo, I think we have full quorum. That's really good of us. Let's get started. So yes. So who all are worked on pivot tables last time? Whoever tried anything? Anybody who tried to do some that home experience sheet we talked about, or play around with the Excel?
Yes, I did, and I have sent in the group.
Okay, you sent in the group. Okay, great, no problem. I have.
Me
Okay,
too.
great. Okay, great.
I have
Yes.
also sent in the group.
Okay, yeah, wow, great. So you're basically getting a hang of how to present, right? Sure. These are tables, and that's really great. So I think we are getting there, no problem. Just keep practicing on Excel. Excel and use case are the two prime most important tools as far as BA goes, and these are easy to come by. You can use use case on with a pen and paper. Excel you have on your laptop, everywhere where you go, right? So no challenge there for those things. Now, just to go ahead on Excel, I believe we haven't seen the chart, right? There are some different charts available in Excel where we could plot these things, and chart are much easier than pivot tables. Pivot tables is a necessity whenever you're going to present it to a large group, and charts are really good when you discuss in person, like 4-to-1 or 5-to-1, because chart has to be explained in terms of the pie, the angle, the bar, and all those things. So whenever we be trying to basically describe our data, the simplicity matters whenever you are in a close group, but the presentation matters at a larger scale when larger group, right? So if I'm presenting in a conference, I would normally go for hello. Yes, somebody want to say something? Hello. Who's Rupal? Rupal, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rupanjali. Actually, I just joined the course. I did not attend any class, so and I contacted with Roshni, and she told me that I should start whatever the class is going on. But I'm not sure because I'm very new to these things. So I don't know if I should join or I should wait for the next batch.
I think waiting might be, see, there's a job, what you can say, jobs market will pick up first week of January. So by that time, you should be completely ready with your practice, workshops and everything, right? The way training has been planned, if you miss that time, you can, really call it a time, because then it's whenever they, what you can say, allocate all the budgets to the resource. We have something called resource card, and we normally, hire resource, right? So for resource cost, if they're allocated, they really will pull down the recruitment. And US, as you see now, the next president is a liberal president. So the way things are moving, he would love to be a cost cutting chair. So that's going to happen,
Okay.
and I don't know how they are planning in terms of on ground, and that's also we are learning together with Devji and overall Gurukul team. So if you can utilize the first peak wave, because it's basically to get everything ready. That's how US market works. You normally get everything prepared from the first month of a year, and that's the way.
Okay.
So if you are ready on January first week, that's the best thing which you are targeting for. And the next one will go to mostly I think March, something like that sort, because you need to do your
Oh.
practice and those things. So it takes
Oh.
time. It's not a ribbon cutting ceremony. You need to learn. You need to do this thing. May I know your background? Like, what have you done till date?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any IT background. I done my master's in psychology and I did NGO management, and I'm very
Wow.
new to these things, So that's why I think I talked to Ravindraji and
I'm
I
a
told
Ravindra.
him, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry.
No,
Okay, I then
you know,
I think I talked to you.
you're great analysts then, because NGOs, because the funding is really challenging there. You need to arrange all those things within the due budgets and all those things.
Limited
So
budget,
it's
yeah,
a
correct.
basically kind of analysis, and that's how we start. So
Yeah.
what I would really suggest, have a look at the recorded session. Are you part of a group?
Yeah.
Uh,
I just joined on Friday. I think you guys sent some videos, but I was
right.
again not sure what those videos are. And I think the 3 weeks training is already done, right?
No, not 3 weeks. You can say 1.5 week overall. Means
Oh,
around
okay.
15, classes. See, I am going slow. I am going really slow because there are lots of resources which are non-IT. Means they never worked in IT as such. And BA is the
Oh,
right
okay.
choice, because BA is basically not IT. You try to club
Mm-hmm.
with IT, but yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
are there to
correct.
learn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You normally talk to
Yeah.
clients, highly visible role,
Uh-huh.
and you normally take to try to understand the business requirement and then convert it
Mm-hmm.
to the organizational documents, whichever organization gives you. So you kind of understand, research a bit, and you fill in the documents as in Word document, something called use case diagram, some Excel to present. So whatever you've
Mm-hmm.
done, whatever idea you are evolved with based on business problem of client, right? And you present it to the
Yeah.
top management so that they can take the business decision to create a product, project, or services based on your
Okay.
documentation. So that's
Okay.
the overall, in a nutshell, a BA's role. So you present a business problem of a client to your organizations where you're working. We normally take an example of an Infosys business analyst going to State Farm with a project manager,
Uh-huh.
trying to understand an attendance management advancement in State Farm. They want to implement some ID scanner, body scanner, and all those things. And BA take the requirement from them. As you're working with Infosys, which is matured IT company, so you have all the
Mm-hmm.
processes there, and that's how we normally discuss this sample. Okay, so just have a look at
Okay.
those recorded session and you'll get an idea, because I have explained this sample or explained this problem statement
Mm-hmm.
throughout the training. So there will be around
Okay.
8 to 9 sessions recorded there. Have a look at them, and next time I think you will understand much better. And
Yeah, yeah.
we are there to basically get it done. Okay.
Okay. So, can you just do a favor? Whatever the session I have to watch, can you
Mhm.
please send me on my number or maybe in the group? After this meeting, because
Sure.
I don't know like how many sessions I have to watch now.
Sure, no problem. Could you just put this question in a group so that I know, because I don't have your number saved on my mobile, so I'll save your number on
Oh,
mobile so
okay.
that I can reply back accordingly. Okay?
Okay. So I will put my name and I will say that so
Yeah,
that you
please
can send me
just
the
put the recordings.
videos.
I'll
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So today we are trying to understand Excel charts, and as I was explaining, these are some of the meetings where you normally try to explain it in 3 or 4 people, right? So you have a laptop and you sit across the table and try to explain. Then charts are more better than pivot tables. Pivot tables basically required whenever you have huge data, huge R&D data, which are far and few. Means if I recall myself, it's like you normally create pivot tables, 5 or 6 pivot tables throughout the year, but the charts are like at least twice a month. So if you look at the occurrence of creating a chart are much more than pivot tables, and these are quite easy, much easier than pivot table. Why I took why I took the chart first, the pivot table first. Mm, Oh yes, Rudra, sure. I'll send share on a group, so don't worry on that part. Okay. I forgot to ask you, Rudra. Have you done that pivot table thing on Excel?
No. I will do that as soon as I'm actually not on the group. So,
Oh, why? Could you ask your coordinator to add you? Means I don't know.
yes, for sure. I think I still have to do the payment and stuff, and that's about it. Send my ID. That's about it.
Yeah, because whatever we share, see, this group is like kind of repository, right? And we share everything. Why I asked, Rupanjali also, because then it's visible to everybody. And even if somebody like even Revti wants to have a look at it, she can also have a look at it. So it's like kind of shared workspace, right? So please, talk to. You were talking to Roshni, I believe, right? Or Apurva?
No, Jayati Ji.
Yeah, okay. Call her after this class, and she'll get you added right away. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Rudra. So, as I told, doing practice is a must. And if you miss that thing, then we'll be, getting piled up on, homework. So please do, play around with this tool. Even as I told you, like on use case, you need to build a use case for, let's say if you drop your kid on a school. So try to understand the, activities do, try to jot down some use cases so that how we are doing, how can be improved, and those things. Otherwise you can just put on use case for going to work every day. How do you go, what are the steps you take, right? So those kind of try to do these things, and this will help you overall to be a good business analyst, because we do analyze the business, the activities, right? And then on top of those activities, we present this thing to the top management to get this project, process, product or services uh, for development, and with all those finances and everything. BA normally don't contribute to the finances discussions, but there are certain companies, mostly I believe Accenture, they include BA in financial discussion, because all the project product you propose, they have certain requirement of budgeting, right? So when you try to collect resources, their salaries does matter. When you try to build a team, their time matters, because their time and efforts are billed to company, and company pays them salary, right? So for that, there should be a cost sheet, there should be understanding of finance overall. But company like Accenture, they have a detailed financial management softwares, and they include BA as well. So over there, you might need to really devise upon, like I need a 3-member team, I need a 5-member team, why 3, why 5, and at what seniority level, and so on and so forth. Not technology wise, but let's say approximately 5 developers, 1 team lead, 1 project manager. That's the overall composition of a team, and that's how you put it in your your skill. It's a job of project manager to get the team collected. Means he selects the persons, he interviews them. You could be there as an domain experts, you could be there as a suggester or advisor in the whole resource selection process. But overall, that's a project management purview, project management responsibility. You play an important part of deciding how big the team should be, because your high level diagrams, your use cases, your requirement specification does give a clear idea to project manager or the project sponsor, or what we are going to do, how we are going to do, and then what's the budget we are expecting, right? Is it like $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, and so on and so forth. So they have certain templates, they have certain Excel sheet predominantly speaking, and they do this budgeting normally done by using these charts. It can be a bar chart, it can be a pie chart, and it's really simple. Okay, and let's try to understand from this video. It's really talks about the 10 most used charts in Excel. So I'll just share, and we'll basically try to understand the charts one by one. Okay, just let me share that video with you. Where's that? Could you see my screen? There are around 8 charts shown here. Could you see my screen?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just play these things.
Hello and welcome to my e-lesson. I'm your guru, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to make 10 most used charts in Excel.
These are simpler, right? Much simpler than pivot chart, right? Means even by seeing these things, it's look easier than the pivot tables, right? Anybody wants to conflict, or anybody want to have some different opinion?
These look
No.
easy actually, but
Exactly.
other than the table.
No, these are just next step from table. These are built on the basis of data collected in a table. Everything in Excel is a table, right? And
Yes.
after that, the next step is basically how do you present it, right? So for that, we normally first have to build table. So that's why those rows, columns, cell, that understanding is a need. Even those different tool sets available is a need, and we just learn this tool set, right? And that's how we normally grow. Just try to understand from this video. It's a really good video. Let's have a look at it.
Yes, in one video you will learn how to make 10 most used charts in Excel. So we'll start with the column chart, bar
Can you
chart,
please increase the volume?
Oh yeah, sure, definitely.
Thank you.
No problem.
chart, donut chart, combo chart. This is where it starts getting interesting. Combo chart, tree map chart, Pareto chart, and in the end I'll tell you how to make sparkline chart and sparkline column chart also. With making charts and graphs in Excel is very easy. You just need to know what kind of data you have and what you want to show. So let's start making our charts from here, and this is the data I have. So to insert a chart, you select your data and go to home. Sorry, go to insert, and from here choose column chart. There are multiple type of column chart. Since this is a simple video, I've taught the regular common charts. If you want to know more about these charts, you can go to my website, myelesson.org, and there are comprehensive videos on these charts. And we were able to create a column chart. You can edit it by changing its name, column chart, see? Like this. This section opens fill, no fill. I'll be explaining this later with other topics. And now let's create which is the second chart we have, is a bar chart. All right. Now, when to create what kind of chart? I have written a complete article on this. You can go ahead and read it in the description below this video. All right. And do also like and comment. Do also like this video if you like what I have written and made, and also comment upon the content of this video. So now I'm trying to make a bar chart. I'll select my data, go to insert, go over this area and choose bar chart. And here is my bar chart. In a bar chart, I will tell you another trick. Like, you click on the chart, anywhere in the chart, and these two sections open, design. You can use design section to change the design of your chart like this. In every chart, I'll tell you one option. All right. So we have created two charts. Now let me create a line chart.
This is simple, right? Just select the table, go to insert, select the chart type, and do the chart, right? It's not, you need to really put on the filter, put on the sorting and all those things. It's really simple. And it really works with just the table. So if you know table, you could do these charts. And these are easy. Rather than in pivot tables, you just have one, big chart or big table. In a pie chart or a column chart, you have couple of charts to support whatever you're trying to prove, trying to present, right? So this is really good in terms of and handy when you're doing in a closed group, because then you have some, more time, and the team is sitting near you, or the participants are sitting near you, by you. Nowadays, nowadays everything is rather than pivot table, they would like to do in charts, because we are everywhere online. We are sitting online, so we are sitting closely, right? It's like me sitting across the table, as far as our training goes, right? I feel that way. Do you feel that way? Yeah, so we are connected and then we are just sitting across the table. So these chart types are easy, much presentable, and you can present in some more number of slides. So these are really good. So even you don't understand pivot tables or you feel it challenging because there are still a bit of micro programming involved there. So let's not go there. Let's try to do these charts, and whenever we have workshop, I'll make sure you do these charts other than pivot tables, because I know it's a bit cryptic, but you get at the end of the day. So let's park the pivot tables for, let's say, 2 months down the line, and whenever we do the big large workshop with Scrum and QA and QC, that time we'll have pivot table, so that and those session will be a kind of disconnected one. So you buzz and then we come online and we try to discuss those things. So those were more of one-on-one kind of session. These were like one-on-many, right? So I keep talking, you talk very less. I would really love you to talk more, and keep suggesting, keep improving these things. But at the end of the day, whenever you have one-to-one connect, you can do complex thing. Whenever you are in a group, you tend to put it for so that everybody understand, everybody can modify, and these charts can be modified on fly. This guy will explain to you. It's really good because it's just referring to a table. So whatever I done month sale target, I am putting in a graph, right? So these three things are simple. It's like 6x3 chart. So this 6x3 table, and we are creating chart out of it. It's just very simple. So I would really urge you to try this thing wherever today, tomorrow, when you'll get time, and then we'll after this we're going to basically learn the other tools in overall BA. There are 6 to 7 other tools which are not that important, because sometimes very few seniors in organizations, they normally basically have a favorite tool and they try to present it in those tools. So we'll have a look at that afterwards. So let's have look at this chart thing. It's really easy. I believe everybody can do it, right? What do you feel about that, Usha?
Yeah, these are easy actually. We just have to click on it and it comes by itself.
Right. So that way, Sheetal, do you feel it's easy?
Yeah, it's a bit easy because I have actually tried such tables in clinical SAS. So in Excel sheet, I have tried them. So
Great. So then let's work on this. There are quite a few templates available within Excel. So it's just click and done. That's all. So whatever data you collect, if it's verified, validated, the creating chart is hardly few seconds, something like that. Okay, let's hear him out.
This is my data. I go to insert and I go to line chart over here and I choose a line chart, and here is my line chart.
This is the simplest one, line chart.
I'm going to just reduce this a little bit. This is my line chart, and in this video, in this chart, I'll tell you how you can change the colors from here. All right, you can go ahead and work with the legends from here. Where do you want to show the legends? I want to show the legends on, say, bottom, more options. Say I say on top, okay? And I want to show data labels. And data labels. These are my data labels, and I want to show them above. Now I'll go to the regular size. And these is my data labels. I was able to insert data label. Now, what next chart do we have online is a pie chart. All right, pie chart. Here is a pie chart for us. Select the data, go to insert, go to pie, and here is your pie chart. See? Well, I can go on and keep on piling them over here. So this is your pie chart. Now in pie chart, I'll tell you a trick. Go to format, and from here you can go ahead and choose various colors to fill the shapes. Whatever you have selected, you can format your chart from here. See, what colors do you want in here? You can choose them from here. You can choose a specific color for a section or for the complete stuff. If it is just one section I want, this is one section I want, I'm bothered about, then only in this section will I change the color. Say, let me make it blue. In this section, I want it to be red. In this section, I'm making a Google. A Google logo is green, yellow, red, and blue. So in this section, I will insert green. And here is our Google. See? Well, let me pull it down. We should never pull somebody down. It's just a chart that we're trying to pull down. Okay? And which is the next chart we have online? This is a donut chart made in a very similar manner as a pie chart. Select the data, go to insert, go to donut chart from here, and your donut chart is ready. In this one, I'll tell you how to copy paste the chart. So you select the chart, click on copy, go to a new sheet, right click and click on paste. Your new chart is ready. It is linked to the same data. That's another way. All right, and now I believe we are moving on to interesting things. Combo charts. Combo charts are great if you have to show 2-3 kinds of information. Like I want to show the sales, like we are showing over here, along with a target. All right. So how will I do that? I'll select this complete data now. Go to insert and go to combo charts over here. All right. This is a combo chart. You can learn more about it in detail on my website, lesson.org.
Any question? Any question? Any question for me at this moment?
I think they are talking to themselves, maybe with his family member.
Oh, okay, sorry, pardon me for that.
So this is a combo chart. So this is the 3000 target line that you see over here, and now you can see this one is this far away from here. This one has exceeded it. This was just there, almost there. And in combo chart, I'll tell you that you can have these lines, etc., removed. You click on those lines and they get removed. You click over here and they get removed. Just have your basic data looking clean, extremely clean. All right. This was a combo chart for you. And let's create a tree map chart, a beautiful chart which shows the content of your data in form of square and rectangular blocks, something similar to what a donut chart does in a round way. So this is my data. I select it. I go to insert. I go to recommended chart. I go to, this is my tree chart. And here is the data. I will go ahead and place it. Now, if you try to reduce the size, it will retain its symmetry. If I change the data over here, say, if I make it say 800, see, this changed. It's a beautiful chart to work with. Also, if I go ahead and remove this layout from here, and again it will try to occupy most space in the section and organize itself accordingly. That's the beauty of this chart. And then comes the Pareto chart, extremely difficult to make in the earlier versions of Excel, but very easy to make in this version of Excel now. So let's select our range, sales data, go to insert, and from here you can choose a Pareto chart. Here is your Pareto chart in the histogram. So it tells you which sections are corresponding with 100%, 80%, 90% of your data. For people who want to know more about Pareto charts, please visit my website, myelesson.org, and you will understand what exactly a Pareto chart can do for you in a presentation and how extremely pleased your boss will be.
Sorry, sir. What is a Pareto chart?
Come again, please.
What is a Pareto chart? Is that the goal?
Yeah, it's basically a chart and you're trying to compare it with the overall total pie. Let's say if you have 6 values, right? And under 6 value, I need to understand how much of the total percentage. This guy was talking about the sales figure. So when I say this guy done 6 unit sales, right? And the other guy has done 30 unit sale. So on a percentile basis, if I want to really compare each and every, each and everybody on a percentile basis, then I get it. Even if I want to compare in on an average scale, if you see, this is the average line. That's what they talk about. So this guy done better than average. This guy done quite worse than average. This guy almost average. This guy also reaching average in some time. So these kind of things can be easily interpreted from this Pareto chart. So Pareto is basically a combination of actual bar chart plus they're trying to have something like target or generic average. So this is basically a combination of two things. You'll play around, and if you can try these things now, you could do it really easily. Try this thing, and so you'll know in depth basically rather than me speaking. These are things you need to try it on your own so that you'll learn very easily, and these are really simple. So you can create it in 3 different clicks, right? You can create in seconds. It's really easy. So try this thing today. We can discuss at length at the in the next class if you want to. And I believe I'm 100% sure you could do it in really easiest possible way. Play around it. Try to play around with data. It can be something like my monthly spending in last 6 months, and I'll plot a chart, and then it will show me what are the things it shows me. What do you mean by target? What do you mean by average? Where I really spend too much amount and those kind of scenario. So just try to create a table and play around with these charts, which will really guide you, make you how to present, what to speak, and those things. So let's do one thing. Let's have something like homework. Next time, I would like you to present me the expenses you did in last 6 months. Right?
Okay.
Simple, right? It's not difficult. Just put any I'm not looking at your bank sheet or bank account or something. Just try to put it grocery, you can put weekly as well. Grocery $300, gas $20, whatever books, if you have expenses or whatever expenses you do. Yes, just try to plot it down, and we could discuss, and you'll relate those chart with actual data you have. And that way you could learn this much better way. And it's just then click. When you know the data, you could relate it. These are the sales based figure. So he is a salesperson analyzing sales. So if you're a salesperson, you could understand this. Like he talks about the targets and all those things. But when you talk about expenses, what we did, if you want to understand the history of it, and then we'll create a trend also of your expenses. Like if you spend $400 last week, $300 last week. So how much you will spend in next week? Those kind of scenario, which Excel can do it for us. And that's what we've seen, right? You just pull the graph afterwards, or you just pull the table afterwards. So it creates a trend for you, and it's inbuilt functionality of Excel. That's what the tool is really fascinating, because you could do this trend analysis in just few clicks, and that's the beauty of it. Let's try to do that. But if you don't do homework, then it's really difficult for me to explain you, because these data are sample, right? Even if I took anything, it'll be more related to me than you, and you have to do the analysis on the ground. So once you know it, then you can do it really click. But if you don't do it, these are like one-way traffic. So you need to acquire this knowledge how to do it. So, and I would really love to discuss those things, and it'll hardly take a couple of minutes. Once you know the data, and once you know how these boxes are planned, then you can explain each and every box. What February means, what January means, and what type of targets we are talking about, and so on and so forth. So try to do it, and we'll discuss it in the next thing, because this is really easy. It's really, you don't require any efforts or those things. Once you have your data, once you understand the data, you can just click and create a couple of these charts, whatever you like. Let's not go about whatever the boss like or whatever the organizational standardization is, that we can do or look at it afterwards. Just try to do it whatever you have as in data, and then we could get it plot. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Last charts, which are spark line charts and spark column chart. Beautiful chart we have. So I want to create a sparkline chart. So for that, you have to ensure that your data is not more than one row. It has to be a row, not a column. It can be as long as possible. The row can be as long as possible, but it has to be a row, and only one thing can be shown over there, like sales. So I've selected this data, go to insert, go to sparkline. It will ask you choose your location. So I will hover over here and say I want my chart to be located over here. It comes over here. Click OK, and my chart is ready. See, this graph is now, chart is located in one single cell. These are hovering over a range of cells. Sparkline chart is located within a cell. See, if I click on a chart, it says chart 5. But if I click on a sparkline chart, it says cell number B31. I will explain more about sparkline charts in my video on sparkline chart on mylisten.org. In a similar manner, we can insert a sparkline column chart also. So we go to our data, go to insert and go to spark column chart. Select where you want to have your chart. I want it here. Click OK, and your spark column chart is.
These are basically used in presenting balance sheet, presenting revenue figures, or presenting the cost comparison, because the 4 cost comparison, which is the highest and which is the lowest. And even if it's a line, you could understand how the cost is increasing, then reducing. And this is a kind of older way of doing it. And they put it in a cell because you can include this thing in a table. So you have table in table, those kind of scenario. So this is kind of, wherever you want to present it, comparison of 2 regional sales. So you have one graph and your other graph. So you could see how gradually it's getting increased, how gradually getting, flatten, the curve flatness, the curve, increase, the curve elevation, and so on and so forth. So if you want to, depict those things, if you want to depict the progression in couple of figures, then we normally use these, sparkling charts, right? Let's go ahead.
Ready. Isn't it amazing? Now there is one last trick. See what I'll do. This is my data. I'll select it. Do nothing. Just press F11. Chart is ready automatic.
This is the best thing to do. Select the table and press F11. There's a key on the top, right? F11. Who don't know function keys? These are called functions keys on a keyboard. And this is what you call normally, bar chart. So you're, saying everything in just one key. It's that simple. Everybody know function key, right? Who don't know function keys on a keyboard? Answers at least,
I think
I
knows
don't
everyone knows. Okay.
Okay, great. No problem. So I'll move ahead.
In full screen size F11. You need to press F11. All right. That's the key, the top key, function key. And from here, you click over here and change the design, change the layout from here.
And we are playing with 2 data rows here. Means we have 2 columns here, and that's how the thing is started. So I'm comparing 2 figures. One is, I believe, sales, and other was something else, right? So those, sales was and target, and that's what I'm comparing. So these are basically 2 charts combined together.
Want to change the colors? You can change them from here. Want to change the layout? You can have the numbers on the top. Anything you want to change the chart type, you can do that from here. Make it a line chart, you can make it a pie chart, area chart, whatever you want. Cool, right? So this is how we go ahead and make these 10 most used charts in Excel. So I hope you like this video. If you did, please click on the like button below. And if you have a question or a comment, please do write your comment and do subscribe.
So let me go back to my presentation. Where is that? Here. Okay, so this is really easy. I'll share this video with you on the group so that you can understand that. And Rudra, I'll share with you directly so that you'll get the video to these things. Play around with this. Simple, like just function click and you get the chart. Try to build this thing, try to analyze yourself, because these are the basic presentation skill you need. Use case is important. Charts in Excel are important. So you should know the basic, in these two tools, these are a prime used everywhere. So to know these two, it will make almost 65 to 70% of a business analyst overall, and your thinking is of course is with you. So these are the two things most important as far as BA goes. Now, how are the rest of the things work, right? Let's try to understand how the other tools work. There are around 6 to 7 other tools which are normally used by a BA in day out, and these are normally driven by the senior most people in the organization. Let's say if we have a CEO or a CIO who comes to you saying ki, hey BA, let's do mind maps, let's do fishbone diagram, let's do activity diagrams, rather than those repetitive pie chart or those charts you're using. So we need to understand this tool, but these are not that common. But these are like whims and fancies, and many organizations have such things. So whenever you're trying to present this thing to the top management, their wish list does matter a lot. So you might need to play around a bit on these tools, and they'll have those training assigned to you as well. So what we do right now, rather than complicating the whole thing, I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes discussion and time on each of these tools, so you understand what the basic tool is, how it's done, how to do it, and in case if a need arises, you will learn it better whenever they present it to you. Because there are challenges like versions, even mind maps. If you look at the Google, there are around 30 odd companies who create mind maps for you. It's like the tool, right? So what are the different products we have to create mind maps? Around 30 odd tools we have. Fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagrams, we have 30 odd tools online which you can create such things. So rather than going to each and every of these things, try to understand the basic utility, try to understand how it's done in the most common tool. That's what I have taken. I have a couple of videos also for each of these, so you could get a detailed idea what it does and what not, right? So let's start with mind map. Have anybody used mind maps here?
No,
No.
not me.
Yeah,
Okay.
not me too.
So what do you think about mind map? When I say mind map, looks scary. Some psychological thing, right?
No, not scary.
Okay, good. First, when somebody told me mind map, I said, why do I want to keep a map from my mind on the paper, pen and paper? Okay, let it be. That's a different times altogether. So mind maps basically, these try to put down the evolution of a requirement. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build requirements or the vision of a project X, right? So what I'll do, I'll try to say who is basically sharing the vision with me. So these can be stakeholders, project partners, project owners, the state farm, because they need this, right? So those who part. Then there's a why. Why I do improve the attendance management system. So then the project owner will talk with you saying, okay, because we have quite a few guys who are, skipping the attendance, or they sign for a couple of other guys, or they have that biometrics, really work with the sellotape and all those things. So those kind of challenges which we want to remove. So why is basically the challenges faced by the client, right? And then how client might have a vision, mission, or idea how to do it. Like put some iris scanner, body scanners. That can be come from project owner. That can be researched and found out by the BA as an you. That can be suggested by the organization which you are working with, or the stakeholder which you are accompanying to such meetings. He or she can guide you कि I believe एक दो आइरिस कैमरा चिपका देते हैं और काम चला देते हैं, इनका हो जाएगा, फटाफट करते हैं, फिर बाद में अपन improve करते रहेंगे. ऐसा भी होता है. So there are things which are get addressed by the top people saying okay, I believe let's get this thing done within couple of months and roll out, and then we'll keep building on that. This is what happens quite a few times, because you're working with quite senior people. They have the power to support the project. They have the power to make or break the project, product, or support. They have the power to get the sponsorship required for the said product, project or support. So these guys drive you most of the time. So we need to, as an BA, understand how to play diplomatic, how to understand such tools which they believe, or how to cope up with such challenges, right? So that's what who, why, and how. Now let's try to see at look at the other side of this mind map. This is what requirement have to be authored by me as an BA. I create the business rule, I envision the business rule, I include this in my document. And then where? So where also normally comes from client, but I need to understand and include in my document. So whenever I say I need to implement iris scanners, I need to implement full body scanners, I need to implement Sony's iris scanner or Philips iris scanners, then I have to say, okay, where, in what location? So actual infrastructure wise, actual deployment wise, that's also kind of BA's responsibility to understand and depict. That's where that thing comes. And then when, so we are talking about the project timelines. When means when to start. So whenever you have a discussions with major stakeholders from client side, that state firm side, that project manager or VP HR Keshav might have mentioned, we want to get it rolled out before Christmas or before first quarter of 2021 or something like that sort. So you need to include those things in your document as well. So that's why we normally go with a voice recorder. We get those things recorded so that whenever I listen, whenever I'm back in office and trying to work on something like minutes of meeting, there I will keep in, add these lines saying, okay, Mr. Keshav has suggested that we need to deploy this in the first week of 2021. This is important because this will be the guideline for the project manager to start implementing the whole project, product, or the first release the way they plan it. They call it in Agile. You're going to learn iterative development. You're going to learn how do you create and deploy it iteratively. Iteratively means repetitively. One delivery is like January 15th, next delivery is January 30th, then February 15th, and so on and so forth. So these are repetitive deliveries to the client. So in case if you have any challenges, you can update it, you can change and deliver it again in few days. So those kind of scenario, those kind of maturity, the agile project management methodology bring us, and we're going to learn that as well in depth. So right now, just try to understand, BA is a person who creates this schedule or who creates the guidelines for the schedules for the development team. So you could understand the criticality right here, because you are giving the vision, you are telling them ki boss 4 din mein chahiye mere ko, something like that sort. So it's like you are guiding the complete product, project or support from your document, from your presentations. So these mind maps does help you to understand and correlate these requirements to each other and build these SRS, build the deliverability planning, the schedule planning, and so on and so forth. And the cost planning is included in this, right? So mind maps are basically a diagram drawn like, as it's shown, a project, who, what, why, where, and all these things basically answered in this, row kind of diagrams, or there's a, bar connector going on, and then you normally depict. So it's a kind of tree, or they call it neural network. Have you heard of neural networks? In our brain, they think it like we have a small cell attached with hair-like structures. They are, spreading across. So these, something like, this figure normally symbolizes with those neural, networks in our brain. So that's how they have these, type of diagrams in mind map. Any confusion at this moment? Any, contradictions? Okay, great. So see, this is not used everywhere. So most of you might not see the mind map again, but we must understand as a tool to BA, because some organizations, they have these, mind map as in their prime, presentation technique, because mostly the CIO, CTO likes this thing, or mostly CIO, CTO, they've grown up with such tool set, and it happens. This is not a cultural thing, but this is mostly, the way you grown up and you like certain things, right? So those kind of scenarios. So this is predominantly used in requirement elicitation. We evolve the requirement with these diagrams to keep a track of what needs to be done, including detailing to the nth level. So if you look at this structure, this can grow on requirement with couple of other elements, business rule with couple of other elements, locations, 6 other locations, timelines, the agile deliveries from January 15 with 15-day each and so on and so forth. So these can be extended further, and that's what it talks about. So we are talking about detailing up to nth level. Normally 3-level detailing is suggested. This is a 2-level detailing. So 1, 2, this is a prime, 1, 2, and then third. So this is how 3-level detailing is normally expected when you use mind map. But let's not get confused on this. Not all of you will be working on these tool set, but still it's good to learn and good to have knowledge of kind of scenario, right? So it's a good way to keep track of what needs to be done. Problem solving techniques, yeah, this is really useful in problem solving techniques. Now when you say we gather requirement, right, we are trying to understand the problem, we're trying to convert it to a technicality of the world, right? So whatever these tools BA uses, these are predominantly problem solving techniques. So you're making your life, you're making the company's life, you're making the engagement life much more easier. You are enriching it with your thought process, you are enriching with the use of these tool sets, how the BA is looked at, right? How the BA is perceived in overall normal technical world. So you are a problem solver. You use this technique, you solve many problems throughout your life as well. Okay, and then we'll get a better understanding of our thinking. How am I thinking? And this really evolves our thinking. Believe me. Let's have a look at this video, how to create a mind map. It's a really good video. Then we'll understand, and I'll take question and answer for how to create mind map and those scenario. Just give me a minute. Is mind map? Okay.
How to
Let me share this. Where's this thing? Where's this thing? Okay. Somebody, एक minute. Let me.
mind map effectively? How to mind map your life?
And this is you can draw it with pen and paper. This is you can use the tool. Depends on organization, and wherever you join, they will definitely train you to how to draw this mind map using those tools. Only you need to know how the mind map works, right? I believe we understand that. This video will make the thought process more clear. Just have a look at it.
Your shopping list and anything else. Let's do this. Hey, it's Ozzy here talking about how to create a mind map. A lot of people are asking, how do you make a mind map? So let's dive in. The first question really is, what is a mind map? A mind map is a collection of thoughts. Now at this point, you could say, well, that's the same as a to-do list. And in a way, it is. But here's the difference. A to-do list, or any type of list, is a linear thought process. Every item comes after another item. And here's the thing. We don't think in a linear fashion. Our thoughts are more like explosions of thoughts branching out in every way. And that's where mind mapping comes in. Mind maps are usually a better way to capture thoughts, and the term mind mapping itself means to map your mind, to map your thoughts. So that's the theory over with. Now let's get on with the action. Okay, so here I have a blank screen. This represents a blank piece of paper. By the way, you can mind map on paper or you can mind map using a tool, and I'll talk about that later in this video. I use both methods, by the way. If I want to capture some thoughts, I'll start mind mapping on paper, but the only drawback is that I change my mind very often, and I end up crossing out a lot of things on the piece of paper, and that's where software makes this process a lot easier. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's step back and look at the action. We start by drawing a shape in the middle of the paper. Now you could draw a circle, but keep in mind that we have to write inside these shapes, so a circle is not really the best shape. I stick to this shape. Now this is going to be our central topic, so let's call it the thing. This is the thing that we want to mind map about.
Okay, so now that you have your central topic down, you just let your mind do its thing. Let the thoughts come and write down all the thoughts that are related to the thing. So let's say, for example, you needed to go and buy some clothes. Clothes shopping would be the thing, that would be the central topic. Your mind would then fill up with thoughts about all the things you need to buy. For example, you might think jeans, a t-shirt, shoes, a jacket, and so on. Those are the thoughts that we want to capture at this stage. So in our example, I have the thing, which is what we're mind mapping about. So I'm going to draw another shape, and I'm going to call that area 1. Area meaning area or aspect of the thing. So if this was about clothes shopping, this first shape could be jeans. Then I'm going to draw another shape to capture my next thought. This one, for example, could be t-shirt. Then I'm going to capture the next thought. Let's say this one is shoes. And I'm going to repeat the process as many times as I need to. Every time a thought pops into my head about the thing that I'm trying to achieve, I'm going to record it on my piece of paper. When you have all your thoughts in front of you, just link them. Everything is linked or branching out from the thing. Next, we're going to think about each area and see what thoughts come up. So for example, if area 1 was jeans, then maybe we want to buy a pair of black jeans and a pair of blue jeans. So I would draw 2 shapes and I would write in there blue jeans, black jeans. I'm writing item and area here just to build a template to demonstrate that this can be used for anything. Then you just repeat the process for every thought. And what you're doing here is you are creating sub-thoughts or sub-areas of those main areas. And of course, you link them all together because all those thoughts are linked. And when you run out of thoughts, then you have your mind map completed. And you can see the difference between a mind map and a to-do list. When you create a to-do list or a list of any sort, you are writing in a linear process, but your thoughts are not linear. The whole point of mind mapping is that you don't lose any of those thoughts. You can capture them quickly by simply adding that thought to the corresponding area or category. And this is why mind mapping is very effective. So let's look at a practical example now. Let's see how to mind map your life. So once again, we're going to start with a central topic. And since you're going to map out your life, then my life would be a good name for the central topic. Now, to walk you through the thought process, imagine that you want to map out the rest of your life, or you want to at least create a mind map that encapsulates where you want to go with your life in the next few years. Remember, it's all about capturing those thoughts. So to start with, we'll create a bubble called career. So let's use the term career loosely here. This is either you working for somebody else or you working for yourself. Next, we'll draw a bubble for relationships. And next, we'll draw a bubble for money. Now note that these are not in any particular order. With a mind map, there's no up or down and there's no left or right. Just like the thoughts in your head, they don't usually have a beginning and an end. So let's go ahead and draw another shape for goals, and another one for travel, and another one for health. So all these bubbles represent different aspects of your life that you want to map out. Each one is as important as the next. Okay, so next we're going to link all those thoughts. And next, we're going to focus on one of the bubbles, let's say, for example, career, and we're going to let the mind do its thing. And your job is simply to sit still, listen, and capture those thoughts as they come out. And you do that for each one of these bubbles. And by the way, these bubbles, in mind mapping terms, are usually called nodes. Okay, so let's go ahead and capture some thoughts. You can see that under career, I have come up with training and jobs. This is an example, of course, but let's say somebody wanted to have a career and the thought process could have been, I need to get some training first, and then I need to start applying for jobs. And that's what that represents. Then for relationships, we can have love and friends. Then for money, we can have debt and savings. And of course, you can add as many nodes or sub-nodes as you want. For example, under money, you could have investments, and under debt, you could list all the types of debt that you have. And if you choose to work with your mind map on an ongoing basis, you can actually cross out those bubbles as and when you accomplish them. For goals, I added 2 goals. You can add as many as you want, and you can break down those goals into as many nodes or sub-nodes as you want. For travel, I added 2 nodes this year and next year. You may be more focused on travel, so this may be a bigger node for you. Then for health, I added 2 things, diet and exercise. You'll note that I've added 2 examples for each main node, and that is just to show you how to create a mind map, an effective mind map, and keep it simple at the same time. But of course, you can focus on any of those areas or those nodes, like training, for example, and ask yourself, what types of training do I want or do I need? And you can expand that node into a lot more nodes. Your mind map really is infinite. You can keep going, mapping out your thoughts for as long as you want. Now let's look at one final practical example. Let's wipe this out and start with our shape and call this one shop. I wanted to do this example to really show the difference between a mind map versus a to-do list. So let's use an example shopping list to create our mind map. Here you'll see fruit, veg, dairy, frozen, meat, and bakery. Now what we're doing here is we are separating the categories of food that we want to buy. It's very annoying to find items on your shopping list that are at the other end of the supermarket where you were 2 minutes ago. So creating a mind map instead of a to-do list will help you deal with that. So following the process we looked at before, you would think about what kinds of fruit you want to buy, what kinds of veg, what kinds of dairy, etc., and capture all those thoughts like this. So here we have apples and bananas for fruit, tomatoes and onions for veg, cheese and yogurt for dairy, and so on. You get the point. And you can see why mind mapping is an effective way to manage and map out your thoughts, whether you're mapping out your life or your shopping list or anything else. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, you can use software to create your mind maps. There are plenty of mind mapping tools, and I talk about a lot of them in my channel. On that note, if you're interested on tools that help you become more effective and tools that help you succeed online, then please subscribe to the channel, and that way you don't miss any of these great tools. And if you're interested in exploring mind mapping tools, many of which are free or come with a free plan, then check out the videos that you see on your screen right now, or click the links in the description.
Stop share. Share again. Okay. Share these things, right? Yes. So this is basically kind of requirement elicitation. We build on the requirement collected and we try to expand those requirements to nth level. Normally in industry, it's done at the 3 level. So there's, the way we envisioned it, project, what requirements and how many requirements do I have? Or project, when are the, requirement timelines, what are the timelines I need to guide to or I need to have in my embedded in my delivery, those kind of scenario. Okay. Any questions on mind map?
No.
If you have, yeah, just feel free to ask whenever you think you want to learn these tools. These are tools really great in problem solving. So it basically depends on your personality as well, quite a few times. So you can also have a favorite tool, right? Once you know how, what and all, you can relate to your, actual life. And then you can pick the best tool which you are, comfortable with. But the base guide, the baseline or the, rock bottom is you need to know use case diagram, you need to know Excel, you need to know Word, and you need to know Microsoft PowerPoint. If you know these, 4 things, if you have your head on your shoulders, done. You are BA. You can work as an BA. You have that knowledge right now with you. You know what comes to you. You know how to create the presentation, how to present, how to fill the template and present it through PPT, Excel, pie chart, and those kind of scenario. These tools we are learning to make ourselves more acquainted with the worlds of BA, so that we can understand, we can build our set across the globe. So we could understand if the company asks, BA, start using mind map for tomorrow. We might have a general idea of that. So this is to give you a general idea. Mind map techniques, as I told you, these are kind of favorites of very few, because they might have grown with this, they might have liked these things during their youth or something like that. So this happens. So that's why I'm trying to basically explain you these tools. And these are good tools. There's nothing bad in that. Only thing is that these are not industry standards and everybody don't use it. So the overall importance in training is quite less than Excel, use case diagram, Word and PowerPoint. Did you got the point what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Okay, I personally like mind map because sometimes, as he clearly said, right, shopping list, mind map best. We'll try sometimes if you really going for shopping, and the way he said, like I want to shop grocery, so dal, chawal, whatever I want to buy. So you can really categorize your shopping in that way, and it's kind of going one level depth. It's like planning one level depth. So those kind of scenario, or if you're going for something like career thought process, or if you have too many choice and you need to select one, then we use these problem solving tools, right? So let's take one step ahead. Product roadmaps. These are basically kind of activity diagrams or flow charts, which are much more at a there's a other way of depicting that. That's what I'll say. Now we've seen product owner is a guy guy who leads the product, right? Who basically have the vision and the thought process of the product, and then he normally closely work with development team members. He closely work with if it's a product, then he'll closely work with the marketer, the regional sales representative, the management sponsor who is sponsoring this project, and all those things. So product owner work with these guys, and he try to create an agreement, try to unify the thought process of these stakeholders so that we are on the same path. We are thinking alike. So when I say a pen, it can be ink pen, ball pen, and there are n number of pens available. But when I say pen, everybody should think of ballpoint pen. That kind of alignment of thought process is expected, and that's what is needed in these product roadmaps. These are specifically used in creating new product or building a new product idea. Let's say if I want to develop a robot to make a tea, right? That's a typical what you can say, a single there could be a single machine, there could be a couple of machines, or there could be just a single robot who basically collect the water, collect the tea powder, and blah 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 stuff. So it depends on, whenever I say I want to build a product to make a tea, it can be one single system, and that's how I envision. So I need to basically share my idea, share my roadmap, share my thought process with you through such tools, right? And these are, as we discussed, these are like kind of activity diagram. So this is like prehistoric stage of a use case diagram. So if you know use case diagram, these are like can be do it in a second kind of scenario. So don't really get baffled by the name and all, but these names or these limbos are used in BA on quite a few organizations. So it's basically communicates why and what. So it's a kind of one side of a mind map, if you want to think in that way. But let's think it as a different independent tool what we are talking about. So roadmap is a guiding strategic documents as well as plan for executing document. So it's basically a kind of we are trying to follow the events, trying to follow the thought process of a product owner. So these are driven by the product owner for the team, and then the team proceeds it. So normally products map comes to BA, and he can just copy paste that image to the document, as simple as that. Only thing you need to understand it whenever somebody shares with you, and that's the whole trying to create requirement of a picture, out of a picture kind of scenario. And in some organizations, product map are standard, so that's why we are taking it. Now they are getting much lesser, because we have use case which is much advanced stage than the product map. Let's have a look at this video. It's let me start that first. So we're talking about product roadmap, right? Where's product roadmap? Give me a minute. Let's start. It's a very small video.
How's it going, product people? This is Victoria.
Now let me stop. Let me start. We're going to have a building. It's a small video, hardly 3 minutes. So
from Product Land. and today I'm going to talk about roadmap basics. We get a lot of questions on this topic, like what is the goal of a roadmap, who is the roadmap for, and what belongs on the roadmap. So let's answer those questions and tackle this topic. Before we get any further into the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, this video is an adaptation of an article on our website, so I've linked it below in the description box. It's super easy to understand and a step-by-step guide into roadmap basics. I highly recommend you check it out. Product roadmap is a high-level visual summary that maps out the vision and direction of your product offering over time. It communicates what you're building and, more importantly, why. Your product roadmap has a handful of goals. First, it's to describe the product strategy and vision. Second, it's to be a guiding document on how you'll execute on that strategy and vision. Third is to get alignment from your stakeholders. And fourth is to facilitate a conversation around scenario planning. And fifth is to communicate with your external stakeholders and your customers. So the goal of the roadmap is to describe, guide, align, facilitate, and communicate. Sometimes it's easier to understand what something isn't to better understand what it is. So your product roadmap is not a list of features. It's not a product management tracker, and it's especially not a backlog. That's because they're all missing this key ingredient, and that's strategy. Your product roadmap is the strategic document to communicate your vision of your product and your product portfolio. With a dedicated product roadmap system, you can visually communicate your strategic reasoning with stakeholders and cross-collaborators in a single source of truth. It should look something like this. Your roadmap should include themes, epics, stories, and features. The beauty of a product roadmap is you can create a portfolio view, and then from there, create different roadmaps for different product lines or depending on who your viewer is. It's important that you create the roadmap with the viewer in mind. So let's quickly talk about the various stakeholders that you might be presenting to. On your executive level roadmap, you want to focus on high-level concepts, things like customer satisfaction, growth, new market penetration, churn, anything that communicates how your product is connected to business goals and outcomes. This is usually a...
I know there are a couple of really difficult words, but this is kind of the R&D which we do. Means if I want to build or create a factory for creating some product like, let's say, ballpoint pen, then I need to understand how can I get the maximum customer satisfaction. So which color is really liked by the masses. Let's say if I'm trying to build a pen in, let's say, lower New York area. So what I need a pen which is normally in dark blue color, or the color of ink, right? The color of refill, what it carries. Then how I can achieve the growth which I require? Because whenever I'm creating or building a ballpoint pen, I need to keep it really safe, simple, and cheap or economical, so that the masses can really adapt to it, right? So I need to understand what type of pens these guys use day in, day out in those markets. Then try to plan a strategy where I can start building those, distributors, salesperson, and so on and so forth. So I'll build a strategy for new markets. And then how much churn I'm expecting. I couldn't start with, 1 million pen and, try to sell it in months. No. So I need to really gradually increase my production. Let's say 100 pen a day. Then I have that gradually increase, let's say 3 months down the line, I'll make it 200 because my pens are getting distributed, my pens are getting purchased by the users and so on and so forth. And that way I'll understand the churn. Churn means how much the distribution is going on, how much products I can sell, how much of my product is getting used by the users. Okay. So this is predominantly used by product. So you're planning a product, you're building a vision for a product. So these are the things which are normally described in a given product distribution lines. Okay. Any confusion at this moment?
No.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Longer in duration roadmap compared to, say, your engineering roadmap. Engineering roadmaps are much more granular in scope. You want to be as transparent as possible on the engineering roadmap. So it includes things like release dates, features, sprints, and milestones. On your sales roadmap,
you'll learn these things in Agile in detail, how to plan sprint, milestone, and even include these features. So we'll understand the scope of a feature or functionalities, like we see in attendance management system. I need to have a Philips ID scanner and Sony ID scanners, both. So I need to understand which are the features are supported by these, deployments, and how we can deploy it in, let's say if I want to have Sony Iris scanner deployed in 4 offices. So I need to understand the overall cycle, how much time it takes to procure one, Sony Iris scanner, what time it basically get actually installed on the, on the office door, and that's how I can plan my sprints, my deliverables, and my milestone. Milestone is basically dates like go live, or dates like, okay, start using, or, attached to the main system, and those scenarios. So those kind of, activities I can plan across with these, engineering roadmaps.
You actually want to exclude release dates. That's because this is the roadmap that the sales team uses with prospects, where they communicate the benefits of what's coming down the pipeline with your product. And then lastly, you have your external roadmap. And this one should be as visual as possible. People want to know what it is that you're going to be doing later down the line. So I'm going to stop right there. All the roadmap templates that I just went over are linked in the description box below. So go start your own roadmap. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.
Any questions?
No.
Not right now, but I need to see the video one more time. Maybe I'll have questions tomorrow.
Definitely, no problem. See, as I told you, these are not commonly used tools, but if your company trying to use this thing, they will train you on those, because this is not expected, and this will also not pop up in the interview. Excel use case, the BRD, SRS, FRS, these will pop up in the interview. So you have to practice and know them much better than, these good to have things. So there are must have and there are good to have. These are the things which we are seeing good to have. You might get attached to, with one of these products. That's fine and fair. You could use it in your, day-to-day life. But as a trainer, I need to make very clear these, if you know, good. But if you don't know Excel, then you are in a soup, means you are in trouble. So you need to understand the Excel, you need to understand the chart, pie chart and all those things, simple charts. Let's not go to the pivot charts and pivot tables and all. Let's try to understand use case, which is a necessary. You need to learn it. So try that much more. That's what I'm saying. Try to build some use case for going to office, dropping the kid to the school, or, making tea, we already did. Try to create a use case diagram for whatever favorite thing you can cook. Let's say if you can cook cake better, try to create a use case diagram. So you could understand in depth, you could understand more, you could discuss the challenges with me right now, and we can make it really good. You're getting my point, what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So necessary things first. These things you can do. We can do it in our leisure period, which we're going to have between December. I think in the month of December we'll have these workshops. We'll revisit these things whenever you have time. Whenever you've done through the complete the last workshop we have at the end of the training, which basically will you will work as an actual BA. You'll work for 3-4 days on a single given assignment, and then we'll discuss this assignment. Mostly one-on-one. If you want, we can discuss in group as well. Okay, it depends. So those things where you could use any of these tool sets. I'll give you free hand. These are good tools. I'm not saying about the quality of your tool, but the usage is quite little. So even if you know it in and out, and if your boss doesn't like it, well, you could use it. You could include it in a document, but then it's not a visible or appreciated skill, right? So something like that sort. Now, this SWOT, any questions at this moment on product roadmap? I know we are going a bit faster, but we are trying to understand different tools which we are not going to use, but you should know it, this tool exists. So that's why I'm training you. Okay, I'll move ahead. So this is SWOT analysis. This is the most spoken tools. These are used by HR persons day in, day out. Means they have these tools in between for the appreciation, for the overall evolution of the personality, and this is how we decide based on this strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And there are a couple of points attached with this. So when I say strength, what are my strengths? Okay, my strength, I like, reading. So I can read at, lengths altogether. Means, best, best thing which I recall, there was a, stayover in Amsterdam when I was trying from Mumbai to JFK. And around 3 hours, what do you call, hop over at Amsterdam. And I started reading a novel. And believe me, at the last moment, the lady who was sitting across me came to me, Ki, the flight is ready. Do you want to join him? I'm like, yeah. Then I ran through it. So this is like whatever you want to do best, whatever you don't feel, you have to put in extra efforts. Like those are your strength. To cook the best, whatever food I cook the best is effortless. We do it by nature, right? The things which you like from your heart, you do it, and you don't feel sweating, you don't feel like you're getting exerted or those kind of scenario, right? And we really build in quality after each and every repetitions. So we build those things, we can excel from our competitors in those areas. So these are my strength, right? So I need to categorize my requirement into these 4 blocks so that I can understand and correlate to the main business goal, main business vision, right? So when I say strength, I say these are basically internal resources such as skilled, knowledgeable staff. So when State Farm talks about attendance management system, what they are trying to do, they are trying to basically build a system which is more effective, more stronger than the existing system, with all the technological advancement, all the necessary software and connectors required or developed by the partners and implement in their premises. That's the basic business goal we are talking about, right? And then we categorize these things on these 4 and try to build a clear-cut picture, like how to do best, how can we achieve the best economical solution for a given business problem. And that's how we have these 4 filters through which we normally categorize or qualify the requirements. Could you understand me? I know it's difficult, and a workshop on SWOT analysis would really clarify your things. I believe I have a video for this as well. Let me check out. Yeah, I have a video for SWOT analysis as well. Or let's do one thing. Let's try to watch a video first, and then we'll have a look at this thing. Then we'll try to understand again, because that will give you a clear picture. Where to go? Here to go. Okay.
In this video, we're talking all about SWOT analysis, what it's used for, the various elements and considerations of building a SWOT diagram, and how to get started doing it. SWOT analysis is a key part of any business and strategic plan. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal factors, and opportunities and threats are external factors. A SWOT diagram analyzes a project or business venture by focusing on each of these factors. It typically consists of 4 boxes, 1 for each area, but the exact shape may vary depending on the design. SWOT diagrams can be especially useful when trying to decide whether or not to embark on a certain venture or strategy by visualizing the pros and cons.
So these are like qualifying requirement. So this can be as early as, in the first discussion, if the CIO of State Farm likes SWOT analysis, what he'll do, he'll, request or, start discussing in terms of SWOT. So he'll try to understand the overall business requirement in strength, opportunities, threats, and, these boxes. And then he'll fill in these things and then he'll discuss it. So we'll have a clear idea what are the strengths as far as State Farm goes, right? I'm working for Infosys, so I'm trying to understand their business picture, their strategic alignment for this business goal in depth. Don't get confused. This is basically qualifying the requirement. That's it for the BA. So we are trying to qualify the requirement as mentioned in this diagram. So understanding these diagrams are not a necessity, but if the client or your organizations have this tool, they use this tool, then it's basically you need to understand in depth. And don't worry, if he or she gives you a straight up, SWOT analysis, we can guide you to basically analyze or, qualify the requirement. So please don't worry at this moment. Just try to understand if you can. This is a bit complex tool in all the other tools, because these are really kind of categorization and validations, or, prioritization of a requirement quite a few times. So we are trying to basically qualify the requirement in the light of alignment with the business goals. That's the basic thing you need to understand. Okay.
By clearly outlining all positives and negatives of a project, SWOT analysis makes it easier to decide how to move forward. First, you want to figure out how to build on the strengths of your organization. A SWOT analysis will help you identify the parts of your business that are doing well. These are your critical success factors, aspects of your business that are strong and give you a competitive advantage. Recognizing these assets will help you continue on at a high level, and you will need to find ways to leverage and build upon these strengths to grow your business. Next, you'll want to identify ways to improve on your weaknesses. Weaknesses are the factors that put you at a disadvantage to your competitors. Figuring out what these weaknesses are and taking actions to lessen them before they hurt your business is essential. This stage requires a detailed and candid analysis of what is going wrong within your organization. Now, you'll try to identify the opportunities available for your business. Try to pinpoint openings in the marketplace you can take advantage of to help your business grow. These opportunities are caused by external factors, such as market fluctuations and trends. Always consider your strengths and weaknesses when assessing these opportunities. Not every opportunity is right for your company at the moment, but it may be not too far down the line. And now we'll try to figure out how to respond to threats to your business. Market fluctuations, government regulation, or public perception are all external factors that may affect your business in a negative way. By identifying these threats and finding ways to lessen or eliminate them, you are clearing the way for smoother sailing. As with opportunities, you need to consider your strengths and weaknesses when assessing threats. It's important to note that a strength for one part of your organization might be a weakness for another. For instance, the old-fashioned brand image and 100-year-old history of a company may benefit the farm equipment division, but it may not be such a boon for the new tech division. For this reason, you may want to perform a different SWOT analysis for each part of your business rather than for the business as a whole. Also, you'll very likely have the same factors listed in more than one of these categories. You can see how a company's weakness, for example, its lack of presence in a marketplace, could also be a major opportunity going forward. Here are some things to keep in mind while doing a SWOT analysis. Try to keep your SWOT diagram brief and to the point. Include the most pertinent details, but don't bog it down with too much explanation within the diagram. You can go into greater detail during meetings or in reports. Be sure to utilize employees from various areas of your company when getting input during your analysis. Consider feedback from your partners and customers as well. A variety of perspectives will result in a more thorough analysis. Keep the core objectives of your company's business plan in mind while performing your SWOT analysis. This will help guide you through seemingly unrelated internal and external factors. Arrange the results of your analysis in order of the most important factors to the least. This will help you prioritize action points going forward. With all that in mind, let's look at how you build a SWOT diagram. First, determine the objective. Decide on a key project or strategy to analyze and write it at the top of the page. Next, create a grid. Draw a large square and then divide it into 4 smaller squares. If you're using a diagramming program like SmartDraw,
you can do this in Microsoft Word as well. Means, it depends on, again, organizations. If the organization have this SWOT analysis as a requirement for a BA, they'll provide you a tool, or they might, you can create all these diagrams with, with Microsoft Word as well. Means I can show you basically if anybody wants to, have a look at it. and you can build these things in Microsoft Word itself. You don't have to have Smart Draw or, you know, the other SWOT analysis diagram as well. We did this before, and it's good. And there are some, you know, even contradictions also. I mean, some might, you know, feel it's as a weakness, some might feel it's as an opportunity, and that's how this SWOT analysis goes for a toss. This happens in organizations where a team working. So this is a tool which is not matured enough to basically, what you can say, fight the contradictions. It just tells you how to qualify. That's all. And, you know, the justification has to be done or written somewhere else. So if you ask me, this is not a full-fledged tool, even like mind map as well, because mind map, you can go to nth level. You can really explain in those pictures, and the discussions at the end required is the least. In SWOT analysis, the discussions goes on and on, because if there are contradictions, the other party will try to prove their point and I'll try to prove my point. So those kind of scenario. So SWOT analysis is not that common nowadays. Yeah, it was you know, common in 90s and those years basically, because the tools were not that matured like use case or, you know, the other tools which we have today. Okay.
Templates already do this for you. All you have to do is type in the spaces. The boxes, of course, should be labeled strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These are titles, so they should be distinguished from the rest of the text using either color or font size. Add the factors that affect the project to the applicable boxes. Factors are typically listed in bullet form. Continue adding, removing, or editing the factors as you go through your process. That's all there is to it. Now, draw your conclusions by analyzing the finished SWOT diagram. Be sure to note if the positive outcomes outweigh the negative. If they do, it may be a good decision to carry out the objective. If they do not, adjustments may need to be made, or certain objectives may need to be abandoned. Be sure to keep your SWOT analysis in an easy-to-access place for future reference and discussion. Some managers may want to keep an ongoing SWOT analysis, updating the diagram on a regular basis. Others may prefer to revise the analysis quarterly or yearly. Either way, it should not be left stagnant for long. We hope you've enjoyed learning about SWOT analysis. Thanks for watching.
Not that one. Not sure. Okay, so any questions on this SWOT analysis? It's not very easy. I can understand that.
I think
So
we need to
SWOT,
go through the video again to understand it even better.
Okay, no problem. But again, I'll repeat this thing. Don't, you know, sweat. Don't put too much efforts on this. These are, I'll say, outdated tools in a, you know, shortest possible word. But no disrespect to anybody who wants to use it or who has a knack of using it, or if there's a senior person in your organization who really likes this tool and he can go by that. So, you know, he or she will guide you, or, you know, the organization will train you on this. So please don't worry right now, even if you can't do it. But the two things which I would really want you to do, use case diagram and Excel sheets. These two things you should try, you must try. Otherwise, BA is a difficult thing, right? So as I told you, try to create a use case diagram, let's say for going to office or dropping your kid to school, or try to create a use case diagram for the best food you cook, and, you know, how to basically, you know, create those prime actors and, you know, secondary actors and so on and so forth. Try to build a system boundary. This is a must. Try to create your expense sheet for last 6 weeks. Try to create in couple of charts. And, you know, I would really love if you could present it in next time. We could discuss with the team. We are just a close team, right? So there's no, it is basically a kind of group learning to us, and we'll try to make our thought process much clearer, much better. Does that make sense?
Cool, no problem.
Yeah, so I would really love to put around, you know, an hour or something like that. Mostly it will be 30 plus minutes or so. Try to create a use case diagram, or try to create at least one graph with the data you know, with the data you plot, right? So we can discuss in depth in the next call, and we could really understand how the analysis is working. These tools are good to have, and if you want, we can have a separate session on each of these tools. We'll try to create those things, but these are not necessary. These are like kind of having a cream on a cake or something like that sort. The cake is the main gist. So if you can eat a cake, let's do. These are okay. We can do it at later stage as well. Okay, let's go. And this is another thing. And these guys are like granddaddies who normally work on fishbone diagrams, or these are called Ishikawa diagram as well. These are basically Japanese guys who have developed this technique, and which is used in 1950s, 60s, 70s. This was really popular for analysis. So whoever basically worked as a project manager in those area, they have a very firm liking on these diagrams called fishbone diagrams or Ishikawa diagrams. They have quite a few names on this thing. So this look really complex. I know, I can understand that. Even I couldn't do it the best possible way as of today. Let me share it with you frankly. This is not difficult, but the philosophy behind it is a bit complex. It's basically kind of cultural thing for Japanese and Chinese guys. They have a certain way of their upbringing, which make them really easy and the best team for such diagram. So if you are trying to work with Japanese boss or Chinese boss, you might have fishbone diagram as in your business analysis presentation part. So we are just trying to understand how it how it's drawn, how we can draw it. Basically here we have something like fish backbone, right? And we try to plot the activities or a progress among those backbones. We have spines like branches, we have head like overall whatever the project outcome can be, what is perceived. So there are couple of things which we plant these diagrams. So as this image shows, could you read those things? I believe it's got skewed, I'm not very sure. But yeah, there are people, places, processes, physical evidence, product service category, and performance measurement. And this is a kind of negative diagram, I believe. Okay, no problem. Let's go ahead. Let's try to understand. Fishbone diagram is basically kind of a execution flow which we are trying to understand different step, different exceptions, different causes to the effect, or those kind of scenario which we conceive, which we accept as in progress of whatever we are doing. So this is kind of understanding the cause and effect of whatever we are doing. So this is like qualified requirement implementation in a nutshell. So whenever I'm trying to understand in our typical example way how we could do the HR system advancement or HR system enhancement the best possible way. That's what a fishbone diagram can tell us. Okay, so this is kind of scenario after you implement and you try to analyze it. You try to build a complete analysis of how the solution implementation will affect State Farm. So these are basically kind of supporting facts which you can present in your documents and can be discussed across the table. Okay, yeah, of course I have a video for this as well. That's good. Let me try to play those things so that we could really understand. Okay, fishbone diagram, right? And this is with the example. That's good. Let me share this thing with you.
In my last video, we had seen that it is known as fishbone diagram because of its shape, similar to the side view of a fish skeleton. It is also called as cause and effect diagram and Ishikawa diagram. The effect is shown as a fish head.
So who all like these things? Anyone from our team like this diagram?
No, very
or just
No.
come again.
This is kind of confusing and complicated.
Yeah, absolutely complicating.
Yeah, but the example which he is discussing, this guy is Indian fellow, I believe, and okay, just have a look at it, okay, and then we'll talk about it.
Facing to the right, with the causes extending to the left as fish bones. The ribs branch off the backbone for major causes with sub branches for root causes and to the many levels as required. Ishikawa diagrams were popularized in the 1960s by Kaoru Ishikawa. who pioneered quality management processes in the Kawasaki shipyards, and in the process become one of the founding fathers of modern management. The basic concept was first used in 1920s and is considered one of the 7 basic tools of quality control. Mazda Motors famously used an Ishikawa diagram in the development of the Miata MX-5 sports car. The fishbone diagram identifies many possible causes for an effect or problem. It can be used to structure a brainstorming session. It immediately sorts ideas into useful categories. When to use a fishbone diagram? When identifying possible causes for a problem, especially when a team's thinking is not going towards a root cause. Root cause analysis is intended to reveal key relationships among various variables, and the possible causes provide additional insight into the process behavior. The causes emerged by analysis, often through brainstorming sessions, are grouped into categories on the main branches of the fishbone. To help structure the approach, the categories are often selected from one of the common models shown below, but may emerge as something unique to the application in a specific case. Each potential cause is traced back to find out the root cause, often using the why analysis technique. Fishbone diagram procedure. Let's see first 6M for manufacturing industries. Materials required are flip chart or whiteboard and marking pens. Step 1. Agree on a problem statement, that is effect. Write it at the center right of the flip chart or whiteboard. Draw a box around it and draw a horizontal arrow running to it.
This is our HR improvement or HR enhancement. That's the product name. That's what we will do build for State Farm, right? And then I'll try to across methods which I'm going to have. So methods can be procurement of Sony iris scanner or Philips body scanners. Materials can be how many resources do I need, how many Philips scanner, how many Sony scanner I need. Measurement in terms of what all offices I need to implement these things, right? So these are the things which is going to make the overall product at the end, make the project or the product successful at the end of the day. So that's the result need, whatever I'm talking about, to understand or to make these all causes affected in that line or that alignment, right? This makes a bit life easier for you. That's why I'm trying to include this thing in here, because the iron product is basically a kind of difficult, example for you. I can clearly understand that. Okay, just try to understand or relate to it to our normal example which we normally talk to. Okay, let's go ahead.
Brainstorm the major categories of the causes for the problem. These are methods, machines, man or people, materials, measurement, and environment. Step 3. Write the categories of causes as branches from the main arrow. Step 4. Brainstorm all the possible causes of the problem. Ask, why does this happen? As each idea is given, the facilitator writes it as a branch from the appropriate category. Causes can be written in several places if they are related several categories. Step 5. Again ask, why does this happen? About each cause. Write sub-causes branching of the causes. Continue to ask why and generate deeper levels of causes. Layers of branches indicate causal relationships. Step 6. When the group runs out of ideas, focus attention to the places on the chart where ideas are very few. Now let's see the fishbone diagram examples in manufacturing. This fishbone diagram was drawn by manufacturing team to try to understand the sources of periodic ion contamination. The team used the 6 generic headings to prompt ideas. Layers of branches shows thinking about the causes of the problem. For example, under the heading machines, the idea materials of construction shows 4 kinds of equipment and then several specific machine numbers. Note down, some ideas appear in 2 different places. For example, calibration shows up under methods as a factor in the analytical procedure and also under measurement as a cause of the lab error. Iron tools can be considered as a methods problem when they're taking samples, or a manpower problem with maintenance personnel. Fishbone diagram is very common tool used in product marketing as well as service industries, but with some changes. Let's see. The 8 P's used in the product marketing. In product marketing, M's are replaced by P. This common model for planning in product marketing is also used in root cause analysis. As categories for the Ishikawa diagram as product, price, promotion, place, process, people, physical evidence, and performance. The 8 P's are primarily used in product marketing. The next is 4S. This is used in the service industries. In service industries, M's are replaced by S. An alternative used for service industries uses 4 categories of possible causes: surroundings, suppliers, systems, and skills. Remaining procedure for fishbone diagram will remain same as that of the manufacturing example. You can use multiple combinations of above categories to find out the root cause depending on the situation and the area of problem. Now create a fishbone diagram in Excel. As I explained, it is very easy to prepare a whiteboard or paper and can be used for analysis. You can also easily draw it in Excel. Excel template is also available on ASQ site for ready-made format of 6M analysis. Now, how to create a fishbone diagram in Minitab. Let's continue with the above example. To make it easy and avoid confusion, I am just explaining a part of methods to be drawn in the Minitab. We can see in the cause and effect diagram, under methods, there are 2 major causes, that is analytical procedure and sampling. So I have written it under method column. In analytical procedure, there are 2 sub-causes, that is not followed and calibration. I have entered a new column by the name analytical procedure as major cause and listed sub-causes under it. Similar thing I have done for another major cause, that is sampling. Once we have entered the data in Minitab worksheet, to draw the fishbone diagram, go to the Stat, Quality Tools, and select the cause and effect option. Cause and effect diagram dialog box will be open. Add the effect and title in the dialog box for which we are preparing the cause and effect.
Could you see how famous was it? It was really, good basically in good old days. It was a kind of philosophy which, these guys stick to, and they still follow those things. So if you have some, Japanese or Chinese person in your group, he could explain you in much depth, much better, because that's how their culture have been involved. That's how they were using these things for, it's like kind of SWOT diagrams for them. They do these cause and effect diagrams whenever they are in a dilemma of a decision, or trying to qualify a requirement, or trying to qualify their even work choice and so on and so forth. So it's really good to understand, and it's their kind of heart they put in to put on this diagram. It requires effort, believe me.
In the row of methods, select branch as in column and the cause as method from the available option at the left side. Once you have entered the causes, click on the sub option to add the sub causes. In the row of analytical procedure, select sub branch as in column, and in causes, select analytical procedures. Repeat the procedure for another main cause, that is sampling, from the available option at the left side. Then click OK. You will get the final results as the diagram. Please like the video if you have found it useful. Add your valuable comments and suggestions. Share this video with all your friends and families and subscribe my channel. I will share similar.
Come on. Okay, so this is about cause and effect diagram, Ishikawa diagram or fishbone diagrams. Okay, any confusion at this moment?
No.
Thank God. I like you, Rudra, because you are the only person.
You were expecting yes from all of us.
No issues. Yeah, believe me, even I have my confusions. I have my kind of gray areas where how to put cause and how to put effect and how to get attached. But yeah, I've used this thing a couple of times, not more than 10-15 times. That's what I'll say overall in 26 odd years. But yes, there are some senior managers, or there are some company owners which like these things. So you need to basically get aligned to their business goals so that it's easier to present it to them, and they can basically correct. And they feel the way Japanese culture have been evolved, they feel proud to basically help you out. Even in Chinese, basically, like in India, right? मदद करना अपने को अच्छा लगता है कि बॉस अरे ये थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो रहा है, so they help you out. So don't worry on that part. And it's a kind of cultural thing overall, and it's quite old, but still many senior persons who are basically kind of descended from these cultural families, they like this diagram and they use this diagram. So that's why I've put it there. Okay, let's move ahead. Process flow diagram is basically kind of activity diagrams only. You have these symbols, and I believe you all know these data only. Direct data is kind of database which you are interacting to, or some third-party components which are interacting with your system and so on and so forth. So, I'll not really put so much thing in this thing. Process flow are like activity diagrams. So let's not, put too much thought or too much efforts in learning these things. And then, yeah, we've seen workflow diagram are by basically activity diagram. And then, let's have a look at it. The workflow diagrams are not used, basically not used by those many, but there are certain companies which are predominantly product company. They use things sometimes because they want to understand if they want to convert it to the automated systems like robots and all those things. So they use this, digitization of the process thing as far as workflow diagram goes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Come again, please. Yeah, go ahead.
So are we going to be using fishbone diagrams in our line work, or?
No, but if you report to some, if you start working with Japanese company or Chinese company, they might. And there are all these old business houses. Even in I think New York, we have 200 odd company throughout the US. Like they have. These companies are descendant of Japanese or Chinese origin, so they use this thing for analysis, and they have sufficient training program to teach in depth. Means they will have at least 8 hours or 16 hours training session to teach you Ishikawa diagram. Don't worry on that part. But yeah, if you want to use, it's really good, and you could use it. You could draw, and we could discuss it in our next class. That's what I'll say right now. Even I'm not master of Ishikawa diagram, but yes, we could discuss, we could improve, right?
Yeah. No thanks. But okay.
I'll repeat myself. So go ahead, please.
I said no thanks, but okay. I think it's kind of a mind map, right?
No, I can understand. See, if you have a liking for any of these tools, good to learn, no issues in that, and I'll support your learning. But you must do use case, you must do Excel. There's no alternative of these. Even if they use Ishikawa diagram, still you have to use Excel, because at the end of the day, the pie chart and those things does matter for all the people. Means even if the owner is Chinese or Japanese, still you need to explain it to somebody like State Farm, like somebody like your client. So you'll be closely working with the guys who use these tool sets. So you need to have use case diagram is a must. The Excel sheet learning for pie chart is a must. So do some spend some efforts on those things, and please I request, spend some half an hour or so today or before tomorrow 9 o'clock, so we can really understand, or really I can understand what you understood from use case and from Excel sheet, pie chart, or bar chart. Let's not go to the pivot tables. We can have those things sorted out laterwards. But these two are a basic need for BA. I couldn't be clear, or I couldn't be stressed enough. Please put some efforts and learn this so that I can correct it now. And then whenever we do a workshop, you don't have to do same mistake or repeat those mistakes. So all of you, please, humble request, create a use case diagram for whatever you like. It can be something, a cake you like to cook, or a simple process like the way you go to your office, or a simple Excel sheet with your expenses in last 6 weeks. We'll try to create some pie chart, try to understand how the spending has been done, which entities, and how to prioritize, and how could we see at the trend analysis as well. So it's my humble request. I believe it's almost, 11 o'clock for you. So I'll just wrap up this session. We'll do workflow diagrams in the next session, but please present whatever you do as in work, your homework, and we'll discuss it. Let's keep, if required, 2 hours for that. I really don't mind, because your learning is what we are here for, right? And if you are not practicing, if you are not learning, this is like a kind of, pravachan you do in mandir. You go mandir, say, oh, God bless me, and come back. So there's no traceability to it. There's no, feedback to it. So we want to learn, we want to gain knowledge. And the way I'm going to learn, if you know, through these homeworks, right? So please do one use case diagram and do one Excel sheet with, pie chart or bar chart, whatever chart you like, simplest one, no, hanky panky thing. Just, I want to make sure that you learn these things, you know how to do it. That will be more of a start for a BA. And then we'll, try to do the templatization and the workshops and, every other thing. Okay. Rudra, could you do that?
Yeah, I'll definitely try. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Just that's what I want. Try, and if there are any challenges, we'll discuss it out. We'll fill in the gaps. We'll make it better, right? Okay. How's you, Usha?
Yes, I'm in Excel. I am doing it, but if
Great.
you want, I can show it tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm talking about. And you've done use case quite well. So no worries on use case. We could discuss Rudra's use case. And Sheetal? Is Sheetal there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I was muted.
Yeah. Please work on an Excel sheet and we'll discuss it. Pavni,
Yeah,
even you too, try to do these things, because these are not old. If you don't do use case, if you learn use case, try to do it. There are recordings available. I'll share those links again. Don't worry on that part. Even Santosh, please do the Excel sheet thing, right? Revati, please do the Excel sheet thing, so that we could understand, whatever you understand, we can improve on that. Okay?
Okay.
Sure. Thanks. Good night, guys. Thanks a lot for your time.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please go.
Are you going to share the Excel video and the fishbone diagram YouTube video?
Yes. I'm going to share in the group.
Please. Okay. Thank you.
And this video will come by today, or will it take time? Like today's session video? Because I need to review.
Today's session video might take time. I'll, share those, whatever video I played. So you can have a look at those ones.
Sure. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the other tools. I think Excel, you already have those video. I shared it last time. Have a look at them.
I have another doubt. Nowadays we have Tableau and all other tools, reporting tools also, right? So not necessarily it will be Excel sheet only, right? There can be other tools also.
Yes. These, if you know Excel sheet, you will be able to use Tableau. The philosophy, like how to collect data, how to understand data. If you understand, there are a number of tools you can use. I'm just trying to share the best used tools. Tableau, yes, but it's a particular skill set, like Ishikawa. If you are a Japanese company or a Chinese company, you use Ishikawa. But most of the, even Tableau for that matters, quite a few matured company, they normally use Excel, or they stick with whatever tools are basically favored by the business people, and which are basically show their results according to their domain clearly. So there could be some combination, but Excel and use case is the base. If you know these two, you can work. That's my promise.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
And keep question coming. I would like to have more questions, more participation. Okay. And next time you need to present whatever you do on Excel sheet and use case.
Ravindraji.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead. Please don't worry.
So what about me? Like, as you know, I have not attended other classes. So are you gonna send me all the videos, or?
Are you on a group? Or are you part of a group?
I am in the group. Yeah.
So
I just joined on the Friday. Yeah.
You get the link
I
and
will
spend some time. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, but I was saying that I will send a message on the group, so that you can send me those videos personally, like date wise, so that I can understand.
No, if you're on a group, I'm sharing it on a group, so you don't have to send message personally to me.
Okay.
Personal, I send it for Rudra because I believe he's not included in the group. I don't know why. Or what are the logistic challenges? Because personal thing might get missed away, right? So that's why I see it's better to be part of group so that we can share and we can grow together. That's how I look at it. And don't feel if you make mistakes, we are there to learn. We are there to be better next time. And there's no criticization. We were learning, right? So don't
Yeah,
feel
I
bad
understand.
even if you make mistake. We are there to make mistakes, and that's what the learning is all about.
Okay.
Okay, so don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the best communication with there.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Any other question for me?
Yeah, hi Ravindraji, and I have one more question. And what you said about the practicing on Excel, and one more thing, what you said there?
Use case diagram.
Use.
Use
Sorry,
case. Have you seen use case diagram, email diagram?
email diagram.
No, no. Okay, let's park it there. In the next video, next session, we'll have a run through of use case diagrams. Don't worry. We'll repeat for everybody, so that you can do it in the next session.
Okay, I just
Presentation.
only done what you sent that videos on November 1st. November 1st I done with that because of it's based on BA. What is a BA and what are those things we can use in the all. And I just done with that video, and remaining I have to go to that.
Next one will be the one.
Okay, then I'll tomorrow I will show my what I done in Excel.
Yeah, sure. Even if you can't do use case, we can get it repeated for the complete group. Don't worry, because it's important. Every BA must do use case. Must do Excel. If you don't know these two basic tools for BA, I believe you can work as an BA. The other things the organization will train you if they use certain particular tool, or you'll basically can if you know the basic philosophy, you could do it with any tool, frankly speaking. So don't worry on those parts.
What you said spelled it again. Sorry.
Use case, CASE, use case diagrams.
Use case.
I put it in the chat.
Diagram. Okay.
Santosh, you have already typed in the chat. Pavni, could you open the chat box? Even the basically, so the use case diagram and Excel spreadsheet. That's right. Thanks, Yudha. Thanks a lot.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you. And sorry, I heard that, but I spell it like something wrong thing. So sorry about that. And it's the first time, right? I'm very new to the IT.
Don't worry. Don't be diplomatic. We are here to make mistakes. Please.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you once again. And thank you, Rudra. Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Let's learn and let's be a best possible BA. Okay. Good night to everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Use case diagram.
Use case diagram.
Mr.
Ravindraji, sorry. You'll send it to me, right? That was.
Yes, Rudra, I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
No, sorry.
I got your number as well. Again, I believe I have, but you said it.